Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Digital Placemaking Podcast, a podcast about the role of public space in the city and how digital technologies can assist in capturing and improving cities and public life. I am your host, Shannon Fisher, an urban planning and urban design student.
Welcome, everybody. Today I have Chidima. I know her as Ndivhu. Ndivhu, would you like to introduce yourself? Like, tell me, like, what you're doing, where you're at, what is your research about, what are you passionate about? Just give us a really lovely introduction to the beautiful soul that is you.
Thank you, Shannon, for having me. My name is Ndivhu Maphaha, and I am an urban and regional planning student at the Witwatersrand University. I am doing my honors, and yes, so my research is engaging or investigating with people's perceptions of safety. I just broadened it for the sake of the podcast because I wanted interesting conversations. Um, and made it like a gendered conversation. However, gender studies are also part of my interest. Yes, and my interest within urban planning, I'd say, are broad, but I know what what I like and what I don't like. So I am interested in sustainable, livable settlements. Particularly, how people arrange themselves in spaces due to, social and physical factors. Um, Yes, I am interested in the development trajectory as well of, African cities and the problems that how urbanization has impacted cities and how planning can help reverse these sustainably, and also the other hidden or smaller parts as such as safety, crime, that do impact sustainability but are not much looked at. Yes, that is me.
Oh, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I think um, your research is and your podcast is so interesting. And I think like it'll really give like my topic of like public space, like high quality public space is such an interesting perspective because like having the space of safety, like a lens of safety and a sense of safety, I think that really impacts your experience in a public space. If you don't feel safe, you're not feeling
Agree.
like you're not feeling good. You don't want to go to that space. And
Yes.
how accessible and welcoming a space is really reflects whether you're going to that space or not, and just your experience in the space. So I'd love to get your perspective on that. And like I think first and foremost, I'd like to pose a question to you. Like, what public space mean to you? I think in general, like it's definitely like an example of public space would be like a space that's accessible to the public, so streets, parks, squares, sidewalks. But what does public space mean to you, and why is it important to you?
Oh, okay, interesting. So public space to me, I would define as um, any place where, like, outside, specifically public parks, streets. Um, yes, yeah, public parks and streets, I think for me are the two, most defining public spaces in an urban settlement. I know there's more, but for me, that's where I think, or I'd say rather, um, public space means to me, and the role that public space plays. The role that public space plays for me, I think, is very significant, especially being a person who loves being outdoors, who loves, who thrives in energetic situations, who just loves doing stuff, be it quiet, energy filled. For so long as I'm outside in the public space, I'm happy. Yes. So I'd say for me, the role of public space is liberating. Um, it's very liberating. It allows interaction to occur effortlessly between people. I think community residents. Um, yeah, it's liberating. It allows for social inclusion, social cohesion. Especially public parks. Also, I love greenery. So, and this is usually there in public parks. I love trees. I love like it just. I'm very, I don't know, it dependent on my environment. For how I feel. So usually in spaces where there's trees, there's vegetation, there's flowers, fruit trees. That's just for me is a defining um, aspect of urban space. I think where I can be one with interact with nature, yes. But more plants, not animals. Yeah, insects, bugs, but like yes, the greener aspect, definitely. Um, yes, I think so. That is the role that public parks play for me. I think it's just the liberating aspect and the where I'm just at peace, at calm. It's just it comes to be. I don't know, constrained by certain factors such as, the physical, how it looks around the place, is infrastructure, you know, degrading, is are buildings decaying, um, do I feel safe in those spaces as a result, social disorder as well, such as people running, like not running around like in that sense, but like what they're doing, like crime and you know the kind of activities that they do. So I feel like I love public space, but there are certain factors that affect my feeling within those public spaces. But I do think they play a very significant role um, in enjoying urban life. Yes.
No, Joy, you just hit so many points that are so relevant. Yeah, like I think public space is so important for like social engagement, especially in this digital age and this carbon productive age. Like I think public space is important. Um, See people, exist with people, interact with people, like people want to be where other people are, people go where people are, people like are attracted to people. And public spaces are just such a good buffer between the, heavy concrete jungle that is the city. Um, yeah, and like I think, within this industrial, like this digital age, where we're just working and going home, I think it's so important that we have these urban hubs, like scattered throughout the city for people to find recess in and for people to find release. And I think it can be so good for people's well-being, whether it's access to public space for leisure, whether like maybe for like picnics or like dog walking or just absorb like the sights and to be within or like to go like hikes. Going to kickball, like play games with your friends. Um, like I think public space is so important as a gathering space, as a place to connect to other people, as a place to find like introspection, find research, find relief from the everyday stresses of life. Um, and I think it's too important that they're high quality. They need to be sustainably created and they need to be accessible to everyone, not only specific people, but it's people with disabilities, people from different backgrounds. Um, and they need to encourage a variety of activities. And within the variety of activities, I think like play and urban play is so important. Getting kids active and playful and adults too. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are like about the role play has in the city and play has in public spaces specifically. So what is play mean for you, and how do you think we can implement play or encourage play in our cities and our urban spaces and our public spaces?
Yes. Urban play, I think that is very important in a city. Um, I think, or yes, in settlements, because I think I've, said before that I thrive in energetic situations. I like, just energy rush places. So I think urban play is very important, and I don't think it necessarily has to be, like high paced, because everyone is different. But I think urban play, a playful culture, something as simple as color, something, vibrant color. I love color. I love, especially in public spaces, it's just so inviting. Definitely, color, I think, would be one way to encourage urban play. But I think still catering to everyone because it's maybe not too high paced because some people may just like a more chilled setting. But I think color caters to both because it's exciting, but it's still too it doesn't force you to like do an activity if you don't want to. um I think I've said this before, vegetation, I think trees, plants, flowers, I think these do encourage urban play as well. They create an environment that's just so easy. You can chill, you can I don't know, run around, play. But yes, I think urban play is important. I think the concept of urban play, especially, is, just also being able to get a getaway within the city, though, where you don't have to. It's not always fast paced. It's not about going to work. It's not about getting to the next place. It's not about going to school. It's about interacting with, the community that you live within. Um, Yes, and just being able to enjoy it and just not a place, just not, an area being a place where you pass through to go to the next place or to access the next amenity, you know. So I think urban play is important in that sense. But I definitely do think just slightly to cater for urban play, moving away from minimalism, because a lot of design these days is very minimalist, very chic, But I think color, I think, a lot of things going on define a place. They give it a feel, a sense, and yeah, that for me. I think would characterize urban places. Vibrant color, but that blends obviously. Like that just work together, that complement each other. But yes, definitely the use of color. Colorful instrument, like something simple as a colored bench, not your typical brown,
Yeah.
white, or maybe green, like a pink bench in a green park. But
Yeah.
yes, I think,
I
um,
think, yeah, I think
yeah. So sorry, yeah, but
that,
yeah, I think for me, urban play and color, I think correlate very well with each other. Yes.
yeah, I think aesthetics is so important. And I think it also leads to like personalization and identity. When you enter a space, you do feel like you belong in that space. You do want to feel represented in that space. You want to like how the space looks. You don't go into nature because nature's ugly. But you go into nature because nature's pretty. It's peaceful. It's calm. Um, it's a relief. And I think like there's vegetation, flowers, whether it's painting and small design interventions and murals and graffiti. I think that just brings life, character, and vibrancy to public space. And it
Yeah.
allows people, it serves as landmarks, landmarks create
Yeah.
visual, it creates visual interest. And I think, people always want to go back to somewhere that has some sort of uniqueness. And I think also like it engages with that digital aspect. We're on social media all the time. Um, and we want these photogenic, like
Yes.
selfie spots. And
Yes.
through these personalized spaces, we can get them. We can encourage people to come out of their homes and take a snap at these cute landmarks, these cute locations. And I think we need to move towards that, and we need to move towards um, like unique public spaces that are pretty and aesthetic and like personalized and
Yes.
beautiful and
Yep.
just full of personality and vibrancy and identity.
Yes. I think you touched on
Yeah.
a very interesting point because that's something, not to say that I forgot about myself, but you just made me realize that I actually do like, taking aesthetic photos, and not necessarily of myself, sometimes to like of myself in the space, but yes, taking cute pictures. I feel like I thrive, but then, and I've noticed that I think all I ever do within, Johannesburg, well, because of how concrete some spaces are, I just end up taking a picture of the sunset because it's the most colorful thing. Like it's when
These
there's
sunsets are my favorite thing ever. I think it's best accessory and like you don't have to pay for it. It's free and it doesn't stop blowing my mind. And you want public space that encourages a variety of activity and like you mentioned sunsets, like you love sunset, you're snapping a pic of the sunset. And I think that um, you know, sunsets are such a good example of a natural like feature. And like there's other natural features such as dams, such as lakes, such as water bodies, maybe flowers, specifically occurring flowers, such as the cosmos field. And I think those could be really beautiful attractions and things that parks could be built around, or like public spaces can be built around. So, for example, you have a spot that's on a cliff, taking advantage and leveraging the really good view of the sunset to attract people, taking advantage of this water body and maybe engaging in activity of the water body, which is like people love water. Or like the cosmos, it flowers like during like the March, April time. So you're leveraging this naturally occurring feature in a way that's environmentally like considerate, and you're also attracting people there to this landmark. And I think that's such a good way to shape, mold, and create public space and public parks.
Yes, yes, I can totally agree with that. Yes, I think, and yeah, sometimes it doesn't have to be very complex. It's just like incorporating natural features that are already existing, like, a water body, and it adds a different dimension, a different color, a different texture to the place, which makes it fun. But yes, yes, I do agree with that. And it's environmentally friendly, I would say, because, there's been studies done on how the existence of such, especially in cities, lowers, urban heat islands and, temperatures. But yes,
Yeah.
so much can be achieved through, high quality public spaces. And yeah,
Thank you so much for joining me for this interview. I appreciate your time, your input. You've been very interesting and insightful, and this is a conversation that definitely needs to continue.
it was a
Yeah,
pleasure. It
thanks
was
so much.
doing this. I enjoyed it. It was very insightful. I learned a lot of things to consider as well. Um, yes, and in some senses made me realize a lot about myself.
Yeah, and like all we can do is be kind and
Definitely.
be the best to the world. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.